Madam Speaker, ICE is an untamed agency that continues to overstep the bounds of legality. They have shot and killed American citizens in Minnesota, and almost 50 people have died under their custody. They continue to pound people all over the country. We saw how they lurked around schools, bringing fear to the American families. They body slammed a sitting member of the U.S. Senate from the state of California. They tear gas and threw chemicals at duly elected members of the House of Representatives in California. They continue to establish that they have no civility, no respect for sensitive locations, for houses of worship, for schools and hospitals. Instead of addressing these issues and protecting constituents, Republicans have instead held hundreds of thousands of dollars from FEMA, TSA, and Coast Guard personnel. This week, Madam Speaker, we're voting on a dishonest resolution that supposedly shows support for the Department of Homeland Security agencies. Republicans are also putting the same DHS funding bill on the floor that has already failed in the Senate numerous times. This is a disingenuous effort, a failed proposal, frankly, a lie. But if Congress really supported these workers, we will be having a serious discussion, a conversation about how to end the shutdown. Let's fund TSA. Let's separate TSA from ICE. Let's make sure that the men and women that work at our airports get their salaries. We can do that. ICE deserves to be dismantled because of their rogue behavior, because of their deadly behavior. And a discussion must be had about the future of any agency. But TSA agents deserve to get their salary. Passengers across the country that are waiting hours upon hours and missing their flights deserve not to have their lives disrupted. Let's pay the TSA agents, and let's have a full discussion about the wrong ways of this deadly agency called ICE. Meanwhile, more than 400 TSA officers have already quit since the shutdown on February 14th. The FEMA disaster fund is now depleted. DHS employers have found and been forced to go without pay for nearly 6 weeks. Airline travelers are experiencing the worst wait time in the history of our nation, and some are being harassed at the airport. By who? ICE agents. The president has now helped this disaster by insisting that Republicans reject any and all proposal that comes before his desk. Any attempt to pass a bill to resolve this matter, the president has automatically rejected. In fact, he has thrown gasoline on top of this conflict by adding a voter suppression bill, the SAVE Act, to this discussion, something that has nothing to do with the airports or TSA. In fact, many Americans, including married women, seniors, and others, feel that this is a voter suppression effort, trying to throw us back to the decades back from the Civil Rights and Voting Rights Act legislation that protected all Americans. We must hold this effort, dastardly effort, accountable. ICE mission under Trump has never was never to keep America safe. It was to keep immigrants' communities frightened through fear and intimidation tactics. We must hold this agency accountable. And we begin to do that by dismantling it. Madam Chair, I yield back.